Welcome back to CBS Sports HQ, presented by Jersey Mike's, a sub above. And for the second straight season, Purdue's Zach Edey was named the Naismith Men's Player of the Year on Sunday. Edey, of course, a dominant season at NCAA tournament and is getting set for the national championship Monday versus UConn. He becomes the first repeat winner since Ralph Sampson won 3 with Virginia. Saturday, he became just the second player ever to have 140 or more points and 70 or more rebounds in a single NCAA tournament. Let's welcome in college basketball analyst Mike O'Donnell, who has watched Edey all season long. When he was named, we were kind of chuckling before we came on about the fact that, he's dressed in a T-shirt, just comes up, accepts the award. He has to go to practice. That's what he said. This is great, but I got to go to practice. But he's so laid back. You know what I mean? He just kind of taken everything in stride. This is another accolade for him for the second straight year. Obviously very deserving. Your reaction to Edey winning it, because this was a really great list of nominees.
Yeah, he's laid back off the court, an absolute monster on the courts, right? So it was great watching him accept the award in a baggy T-shirt and sweats, and he's going to accept the award. He thanked a couple people, his coaching staff, his mom, his family, his teammates, and then off to practice. It was kind of the perfect illustration of who he is. He's very appreciative, very thankful. Job's not over yet. He's been dominant all season long. He was dominant last year. First back-to-back award winner, Naismith Award winner since Ralph Sampson did it at Virginia. And Zach Edey's been nothing short of absolutely dominant for the last 2 seasons. And, I mean, he leads the nation in scoring. Yes, he's big. He's 7'4". He's second in the nation in rebounding. He's 28 double-doubles. He does everything well inside of 10 feet. And there's just been so much chatter and almost kind of conversation like nitpicking. Is he a really good basketball player? Yeah, he's an incredible basketball player. He does so much that you don't actually see if you're not actually diving in. The way he plays angles, his conditioning is better. His reads defensively and offensively. The amount of different junk defenses that he has to face, and you watch him play and how he finds openings, you cannot have a conversation about Zach Edey and not talk about how great his IQ is now and has gotten better over the course of his career for his ability to find open lanes. I mean, it's always, he is the focal point of the scouting report every single time on the court. And we can talk about big picture stuff. I mean, analytically, the numbers don't lie. He's the #1 most efficient scorer in the country, percentage of sports. He's the #1 post-up scorer in the country, and he's #1 roll scorer in the country out of ball screens. He literally is the most efficient player in college basketball, period.
When you look at his legacy and kind of where it's at, we mentioned that he's the first repeat winner, in a long time. What does his legacy look like 5 years from now in terms of college basketball, regardless of what happens in the national title game?
I don't know if I can answer that question without saying the regardless. I think if he wins tomorrow night, he's going to be one of the greatest college basketball players we've ever seen. You can make a case right now, if he doesn't win, that he's one of the top 100 greatest college basketball players ever. If he leads Purdue to their first ever national championship, I mean, for me, you can go down the list. I'd be okay with making a list of where he's one of the top 25 best college basketball players of all time. What he's done in back-to-back seasons, his ascension into complete and total stardom in college basketball. There is no player that we haven't seen a player this big and this dominant since Shaquille O'Neal. And you look at all the great post players, and I think what you need to do is when you talk about Zach Edey, the game is so much different than when Shaq played. It's so much different. Even when like Tyler Hansbrough played. Remember how Tyler Hansbrough was so dominant in the post, and the way that the spacing is, the way the defenses are so analytical now and how they guard players. It's never been easier to score, and at the same time, it's never been harder to score in college basketball because of how everything has evolved. And I think Zach Edey, if he wins tomorrow night, I could make a case that he's a top 25 college basketball player of all time.
Wow.
What other player has achieved back-to-back just in the last 25 years, back-to-back National Player of the Years, plus a national championship? What more do you want?
Yeah, I mean, it's first time.
Leads the country in scoring. I mean,
1983, was the last time we had that happen. So
yeah.
You mentioned the fact that there are people that don't necessarily believe that Zach Edey is as good as the hype.
Yeah.
Right? As good as what, people like you and me say he is. Why do you think that is? What is the detractor saying about Edey that, you know, perhaps is there part of their game that his game that they're not seeing, or is it just that he's playing in the Big Ten, is it a conference thing? Like, what is it about Zach Edey that has people saying, well, you know, he's just tall?
We all fear what we don't understand, and it's really hard to understand Zach Edey when you watch him. It doesn't make any sense. He played 40 minutes against Alabama in that Final Four game. He's 7'4". If you're 7'4", you don't play 40 minutes. You don't have that kind of conditioning.